we are kicking things off with big news from academia. Executive Vice President and Provost Michelle McCauley is stepping down after 3 incredible decades of leadership at Middlebury. We dive into what this means for the college as she prepares for her next chapter after her tenure. Freedom Train in Arkansas. And finally, get ready for some massive entertainment news. Netflix is bringing first looks at Charlie vs. the Chocolate Factory, alongside an anime slate featuring the One Piece, and Jason Reitman and Gil Kennan for the Ghostbusters series at Annecy Festival. Stay with us for the full rundown. Noi Dung Kai Tight? Provost Michelle McCauley is stepping down from her position at Middlebury, concluding a distinguished 3-decade tenure marked by significant teaching and institutional leadership. President Ian Baucom announced on January 22 that McCauley will conclude her service on June 30, beginning a sabbatical on July 1. Her future plans include pursuing a leadership role at another institution or returning to teaching and research, as the college actively searches for its next provost. /N McCauley joined Middlebury in 1995 as an applied psychologist in the psychology department, focusing her early research on legal psychology, particularly eyewitness memory and children's courtroom testimony, where she highlighted the underappreciation of children's accounts in U.S. courts until the late 20th century. She emphasized that her early work centered on supporting individuals in telling their stories while ensuring accuracy for witness testimony. /N during her time at Middlebury. McCauley was instrumental in establishing the Conservation Psychology Lab, which investigates the psychological basis of pro-environmental behavior and has collaborated with the Sustainability Solutions Lab. Furthermore, she co-founded the Vermont Center for Behavioral Science Research on Climate and the Environment in 2021, expanding the lab's impact beyond the college. /N academically and in institutional development. McCauley became the first director of the Catherine Wasserman Davis Collaborative in Conflict Transformation, launched with a $25 million gift in December 2021. She navigated the initial phase by identifying key leaders for the collaborative's pillars, noting a seamless transition to Sarah Stroop, who subsequently took the directorship. The collaborative has since expanded to include student programming and external partnerships with nonprofits and /N McCauley also served as interim executive vice president and provost in the summer of 2022 following the unexpected passing of Jeff Casson. Her tenure as provost was shaped by the abrupt transition following the COVID-19 pandemic and subsequent changes in leadership, including the departure of Sujata Murthy. She acknowledged the significant financial strain placed on the college by the pandemic and implemented initiatives to manage enrollment surges, such as spearheading a first-year program in Copenhagen. /N under her leadership as provost, the college announced a $10 million annual reduction to address a 15-year financial deficit, which involved staff and faculty benefit reductions. McCauley was a key public administrator in this process, leading to significant faculty and staff protests and a petition to reverse the cuts. She reflected on Middlebury's resilience, noting that the institution has successfully navigated various crises, from the Civil War to the pandemic. /N McCauley stressed the importance of cross-cultural dialogue, linking it to the college's history of language schools dating back to 1915. Looking toward the future, she expressed concern over the potential impact of artificial intelligence on higher education, cautioning that students must develop deep, human expertise rather than relying on AI for foundational work. She strongly advocated for the humanities and languages as essential for fostering cultural understanding. The student organization, previously known as Hillel at Middlebury College, has officially rebranded as the Jewish Association at Middlebury, or JAM, following a year-long consultative process involving discussions about disaffiliation from Hillel International. While JAM maintains an on-paper affiliation with Hillel International, an umbrella network of Jewish campus groups, the decision reflects a desire by the local community to establish a name that better represents its diverse student body. Since 1954, the organization has provided religious and social programming, including weekly Shabbat and Havdalah services and celebrations for major Jewish holidays. The name change was driven by concerns over the affiliation's stance on political issues, particularly concerning support for Israel and the boycott, divestment, and sanctions (BDS) movement. The impetus for the change stemmed from a fundraiser held in November 2023, where JAM raised funds for World Central Kitchen, an organization providing food relief in Palestine and Israel. Following a response from Hillel International questioning the fundraising efforts related to Gaza, JAM adjusted its social media messaging to clarify the beneficiary, indicating a divergence in alignment with the international organization's directives. Hillel International mandates that its affiliate chapters maintain an unwavering commitment to Israel and discourages engagement with student groups supporting the BDS movement. This stance prompted the JAM board to initiate a process to rename the organization and disassociate. Board members expressed growing discomfort with being the front face of an organization with values they disagreed with, citing concerns over the continued support of Israeli actions in Palestine. The consultative process included in-person and online listening sessions with the college's rabbi and associate chaplain, Danae Stillman, and anonymous student feedback. While the administration supported the process, the board ultimately voted with a 7-1 recommendation to disassociate, emphasizing that the decision reflected the membership's desire for a more welcoming and pluralistic space, not a rebuke of Zionism. Despite the vote, the process encountered administrative hurdles. In November 2025, the board received communications stating they lacked the authority to rename the organization or disassociate. Although this communication was perceived as contradictory, the board proceeded with the name change. Further discussions revealed that no formal contract existed between JAM and Hillel International, and the college suggested that students wishing to disassociate could form their own organization, a suggestion JAM rejected, stressing the importance of avoiding the siloing of students based on political views. Ultimately, JAM has renamed itself to better reflect its membership's values, aiming for a space where members feel less obligation to adhere to guidelines they do not agree with. The organization intends to continue its Jewish-focused programming while disassociating from the specific guidelines of Hillel International. Support continues through other resources provided by the Scott Center and various campus offices for Jewish students. Russellville, AR. The community is invited to join Pints and Professors on Tuesday, May 12th, at the Central Fire Station in downtown Russellville for a special event featuring 2 distinguished academics. The event will host Dr. Katie Myers and Dr. Kelly Jones for its May 2026 edition. The evening is scheduled to begin at 6 p.m. and is open to the public. Dr. Katie Myers, an assistant professor of curriculum and instruction and program director for special education in the ATU Department of Teaching and Educational Leadership, will present on the topic, Beyond the Textbook, Bringing Real Life into Education. Joining her is Dr. Kelly Jones, an associate professor of history and graduate program director in the ATU Department of History and Political Science, who will deliver a lecture titled The Freedom Train in Arkansas. Pints and Professors is characterized as a venue where education meets conversation over a pint. The format involves a 15 to 25-minute talk followed by an open discussion, designed to make ATU research and innovation accessible, conversational, and community-focused. The event is sponsored by the ATU Graduate College and Point Remove. For more information on the ATU Graduate College, visit www.atu.edu/gradcollege, and for details on Point Remove at the Central Fire Station, visit www.facebook.com/Point Remover Russellville. Netflix is set to deliver a major content splash, featuring exclusive sneak peeks for Charlie vs. the Chocolate Factory and The One Piece as part of its next on Netflix animation showcase. The platform is also bolstering its anime slate with exclusive previews of The One Piece, Sparks of Tomorrow, The Ribbon Hero, alongside anime-inspired series such as Blue Eye Samurai's second season and Bass Ex Machina. In major industry news, Netflix is returning to the Annecy International Animation Film Festival, showcasing a genre-spanning lineup of films and series. This follows a highly successful year for Netflix animation, highlighted by the record-breaking success of K-pop Demon Hunters, which secured 2 Oscars and 13 Annie Awards. The festival schedule includes a Steps Work-in-Progress session for the reimagining of Cinderella, an anime studio focus dedicated to the new slate, and the world premiere of The Ribbon Hero. Further exciting news includes an exclusive preview for the upcoming Ghostbusters series, produced in partnership with Sony Pictures Animation, with executive producers Jason Reitman and Gil Kennan set to unveil the world-exclusive content. Additionally, fans can look forward to a masterclass with Ricky Gervais, creator and director of the adult comedy Alley Cats, featuring an early look at 2 episodes ahead of its August 7 debut. Concept art for Brad Bird's, Ray Gunn, and new stills for Ricky Gervais' work have also been revealed. Key upcoming titles include Charlie vs. the Chocolate Factory, slated for a 2027 release, following a synopsis centered on Willy Wonka returning to his factory to inject sweetness into a bitter world. Other highly anticipated projects include Steps, 2026, Alley Cats, August 2026, and the new anime adaptation of The One Piece, set for February 2027. The festival celebration will also feature an outdoor sing-along screening and competition entries from Sparks of Tomorrow and Love, Death Plus Robots.